We've got the top 10 ads for this week in fantasy baseball coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We are going to go over the top 10 ads for this week in fantasy baseball. If you like this type of content, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever we drop an episode. We do have a shout out here before we get started. Uncle Ted Talks wants us to take a look at a few names. We're going to focus in on one of those names on that list, that name being Ryan Noda. He's currently batting in the top third of the Oakland order, which, I mean, it's not a huge spot to be in. Of course, Oakland struggles to score runs, is well documented, but it's not a bad spot there for somebody who you can get wildly in leagues. He's going to be a low-end power source for you there as well. Let's get started here at number 10. We have AJ Minter, 50% owned, 3.1 innings pitched here, 1 save, 4 strikeouts, no runs scored, 0.3 whip. The left-handed pitcher has been on a roll of late, and he has been picking up some rogue saves as well for that Atlanta squad. Nice little run was fueled by great strikeout and walk numbers. So if this continues, I can see AJ Minter being as high as a top 20 relief pitcher by the end of the season. Let's go to number 9. We have Spencer Torkelson, 18% owned here, batting second in the Detroit lineup. Last week he had 6 runs scored, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in, 321 average. The former number 1 overall pick is starting to show some life, finally. StatCast is a big fan of Spencer Torkelson, and it might be the right time to be a big fan yourself as well. He had a 375 on-base percentage and 35 homers with 889 career OPS in the minors before joining the squad last season. And he may start to be able to find his groove to get close to those type of numbers here going forward. Let's go to number 8. We have Bo Naylor, 13% owned, AAA, of course, just being called up today. So his AAA numbers look like the following: 13 homers, 48 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, 254 average. He has an 891 OPS as a catcher this season in the minors. Bo, of course, is joining brother Josh on the big squad here for the Guardians. It may take some time to be as productive as his older brother, but the intrigue is certainly there. I'd pick up Bo Naylor as a solid catcher too to see how well he starts off his major league career. Let's go to number 7. We have Ji-Hwan Bae, 38% owned here, batting 7th in the Pittsburgh lineup. Last week he had 3 runs scored, 1 run batted in, a stolen base, and a 250 average. Ji-Hwan Bae is his name, and speed is his only real game, but he's so good at it that you can overlook the rest. Bae's leading off in today's game, and if that happens to stick in that Pittsburgh lineup, that would really propel him up this list. Coming in at number 6, we got Taijuan Walker, 43% owned, 13 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts here in the last week, 2 wins, 0.69 average, 0.85 whip. He's pitching with savvy, which he has, for a Phillies team starting to make some noise in the NL East. He's not really a power pitcher much anymore, but he's getting solid run support, so that could make for a solid ad for as long as he remains hot. Let's go to number 5. We have J.D. Davis, 44% owned, batting 4th in the San Francisco lineup. Last week he had 2 runs scored, a homer, 6 runs batted in, and a 385 average. He's flown under the radar pretty much all season, but minus the strikeout numbers, Davis has been excellent in putting up great exit velocities, hitting in the middle of that Giants order. The way that he's going, and if he continues to put up some solid numbers, this could very well be the last call on picking up J.D. Davis for your squad. Let's go to number 4. We have Jake Fraley, 37% owned, batting 5th today in the Cincinnati lineup. He has been injured. He's been out for the last couple of weeks, but he's finally back today. As mentioned last week when we featured him in the top 10 ads, he's certainly not the most talented player on this list, but he should play a large role on this newly crafted Reds offense, very exciting Reds offense. So I would suggest picking him up and seeing where he lands on that lineup. If he can stick around the top or middle of that order, he's certainly worth a stay in your lineup. Let's move to number 3, Orlando Arcia, 61% owned, 8th in that lineup. Last week he had 8 runs scored, a homer, 6 runs batted in, and a stolen base, 478 average. Now let's take a minute and imagine a world where Arcia hits out of the number 2 spot in that Atlanta order. The way that he's batting, that wouldn't be completely out of the question for Atlanta to try to do that, especially because they're shuffling their order already with dropping some of their main guys down a little bit in the order. Arcia's value would certainly vault if that does happen, but for now, we can only dream. That being said, Arcia should be owned pretty much everywhere he can. Let's go to number 2. We have Austin Hayes, 59% owned. 5 runs scored here, 1 homer, 4 runs batted in, 360 average. Now let's imagine a world where Hayes sits at the top of the order in Baltimore. Well, he's hitting leadoff today with Gunnar Henderson scratched from the lineup, and he has been featured there in a few games over the last few weeks. This move might still stick as well when Gunnar Henderson returns. That Baltimore lineup is pretty fluid, so you never really know how that's going to end up with Hayes, but it seems pretty evident that Hayes will play an important part in that lineup going forward. And last but not least, at number 1, we have Braxton Garrett, 46% owned, 11.1 innings pitched last week, 17 strikeouts, 1 win, 0.79 ERA, 0.79 whip. The word is now out on Braxton Garrett. He is a soft tosser lefty with elite control, and he's got rising strikeout numbers. Braxton has the slumping Pirates next, which should be a lock to continue his current going momentum. He's now ranked 29th in Yahoo over the course of the last month, so definitely worth a look if you need a starting pitcher. And that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. But for now, we are going to sign off. We will catch you guys on the next episode.